Hey everybody, welcome to my prediction video for the African Cup of Nations 2017 qualifying phase. Now, the qualifying phase is pretty much 2/3 of the way over, but there are still 4 matches remaining in each of the 15 groups, and I'm going to be making predictions for who I think will qualify from each group to the African Cup, which will be hosted in Gabon in January of next year. The African Cup of Nations is a biennial tournament. It's held every 2 years in Africa. It's where the 16 best teams in Africa compete for the African title. The last African Cup was last year in 2015, where the Ivory Coast won on penalties against Ghana. Prior to that, champions were Nigeria in 2013, Zambia in 2011, and Egypt, my team, won 3 in a row between 2006 and 2010. So, the qualifying phase so far now is almost through, but I ran my own simulations and predictions and my own analysis into the results of the final games in all the remaining groups. And here are my predictions on which 15 teams will join Gabon, the host nation, at the tournament. And let me just get my notebook. So, here are the groups. In Group A, we have Togo, Tunisia, Djibouti, and Liberia. In this group, I have actually Liberia and Tunisia finishing level on 11 points each, with Liberia qualifying for the African Cup directly on goal difference. In Group B, I have Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, Angola, and Madagascar. I think the Democratic Republic of Congo will qualify. Group C, I have Mali, Benin, South Sudan, and Equatorial Guinea. I think Mali will qualify. Burkina Faso in Group D with Uganda, Botswana, and Comoros. I think Burkina Faso will qualify. In Group E, we have Guinea-Bissau, Republic of Congo, Zambia, and Kenya. I think that the Republic of Congo will qualify just barely ahead of Zambia on goal difference. In Group F, we have Morocco, Cape Verde Islands, Libya, and Sao Tome and Principe. Morocco has already clinched qualifying, so didn't have to make a prediction on that one. In the next group, in Group G, we have Egypt, my team, Nigeria, Tanzania, and Chad. Chad and Nigeria have already been eliminated, and Egypt is ahead. I think Egypt will qualify for the African Cup of Nations, which is about time because we haven't qualified for the African Cup since 2010, which was when we won it. And since then, our team has been in a downward spiral, slump, and we're just starting to rebuild. And it looks like we only need a draw in the next game against Tanzania to qualify, and I think we'll do it. The next group, we have Ghana, Rwanda, Mozambique, and Mauritius. I think Ghana will qualify directly. The next group is Ivory Coast, the current champions of Africa, who will be defending their title. Sudan and Sierra Leone, I think Ivory Coast will qualify. Group J, a lot of groups here. Africa's a huge continent. We have Algeria, Ethiopia, Lesotho, and Seychelles. I have Algeria qualifying. They did excellent at the World Cup. They're in great form, have a lot of players in Europe. I think they'll qualify easily. Group K, we have Senegal, Namibia, Niger, and Burundi. I think Senegal qualifies easily. I think Senegal is actually one of the favorites to qualify for the World Cup in 2018, but it's a little bit too early to predict that. And Group L, we have Guinea, Swaziland, Zimbabwe, and Malawi. Now, Guinea is clearly the best team in this group, but based on the way that the results have been going already in this group, Zimbabwe have the early lead on points, and I think Zimbabwe is going to pull it out and qualify ahead just narrowly of Guinea. And in the final group, we have Cameroon, greatly known, strong African powerhouse, Mauritius, Mauritania, South Africa, and Gambia. I think that Cameroon will qualify comfortably for the African Cup with Mauritania in second. So, the way that this works is with the 13 teams that qualify from each of the 13 groups, that still leaves 3 other teams to be decided who qualifies. Now, Gambia qualifies automatically as the host nation, so that leaves 2 more spots. Basically, what the rules of Confederation of African Football are is that the 2 best runners-up qualify for the African Cup, which means the 2 teams, the 2 runners-up that achieve the most number of points in the group phase. And after calculating and adding up the math, my 2 teams that I have qualifying as the 2 best runners-up are Tunisia, a very well-known North African powerhouse, have played in 4 World Cups, and the other one is Uganda, who is on the rise lately. So, to sum up, my predictions on the 16 teams that will be playing at the Africa Cup of Nations next January in Gabon are Gabon, the host nation, of course, Liberia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Mali, Burkina Faso, Republic of Congo, Morocco, Egypt, Zimbabwe, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Cameroon, Algeria, Senegal, and Tunisia and Uganda. Now, I just want to say that in looking at the list of teams that I have qualifying, most of them are not surprising. Most of the top teams currently in Africa, I think, are going to qualify. The 2 surprises being Liberia from Group A and Uganda from Group D. And, and of course, Zimbabwe from Group L, I believe. So, no, not too many surprises. A couple, 3 teams that are not expected to qualify, I think, will make it. But that's only pretty much because of where the standings are now. And if you need me to repeat which teams, I'll comment in the comment section below on the 16 sides I see competing next winter for the African title. Just to make this clear, as somebody who studies African football, someone who supports an African team, Egypt, I just want to say African football is a very, very difficult continent to predict. It's literally a crapshoot, guys. In my opinion, Africa is the most difficult continent to predict in the entire world, because in Africa, what you have is the quality in between teams is not very it's not very diluted. It's not very stark. Upsets happen all the time in Africa where you have weaker teams beating stronger teams. Like, for example, African minnows like Swaziland and Burundi and Comoros and Seychelles and Sierra Leone can beat any other team in Africa on their best day. And it's because of this that African Cup of Nations tournaments tend to be really surprising and it can produce some unexpected results. So, as much as I love making predictions for African international football, it can be kind of a pain sometimes because you really don't know what's going to happen. Um, but I always try to base my analysis and my football predictions based on current form that teams are in, the current standings in their groups, and squad developments, and just overall conventional wisdom. So, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, who you think is going to qualify for the African Cup. Uh, Again, I'll write down below the 16 sides I think are going to make it. And I had a few questions, a little bit off topic, lately of when I'm going to make my next Copa America prediction video. Well, the Copa America doesn't start for another 2 weeks, so somewhere around June 1st, which is 2 days before the tournament starts in the United States, will I be making my final video on my thoughts, my expectations for the tournament, and who I think is going to win it. The same applies to the Euro 2016 tournament in France. I know we're all very much looking forward to that. That'll come out around sometime June 8th or June 9th, right before the tournament begins. And yeah, that's it for now. These are just my predictions for the qualifying phase of the 2017 African Cup, which is already about 70% over. So let me know what you think below. And as always, guys, thank you. Give me any feedback on what you think. And until the next time, peace out.